What's up, y'all? It's your girl Shirley SHRM, and today we are covering the leadership cluster of behavioral competencies. So get out your notebooks, your pens, and your highlighters, and let's get into it. In the leadership cluster, three behavioral competencies stand out: leadership and navigation, ethical practice, and diversity, equity, and inclusion. These competencies encapsulate the behaviors, attributes, and essential knowledge HR professionals need to lead and support their teams effectively. In doing so, they uphold values such as integrity, accountability, and inclusion. The leadership behavioral competencies encompass a range of key components. These include setting and implementing a visionary direction for the HR function, managing organizational initiatives, influencing and supporting fellow organizational members, fostering an ethical organizational environment, and behaving in an ethical manner that promotes the organization's values. Additionally, HR professionals are expected to cultivate a diverse and inclusive culture that enhances organizational performance, ensuring equity effectiveness. Starting with the first competency, leadership and navigation, it involves the knowledge, skills, and abilities needed to craft a compelling vision and mission for HR. This vision should align seamlessly with the organization's strategic direction and culture. The competency goes further to encompass achieving HR and organizational goals, leading and promoting organizational change, navigating the organization, and managing the implementation of HR initiatives. Breaking down the subcompetencies, aspects such as navigating the organization, vision, managing HR initiatives, and influence come into play. Notably, there are 5 crucial concepts associated with this competency. First among them are various leadership theories, including situational leadership, transformational leadership, participative leadership, inclusive leadership, leader-member exchange theory, servant leadership, transactional leadership, trait theory, and contingency theory. Moving on, people management techniques like directing, coaching, supporting, and delegating are explored. Motivation theories, such as goal-setting theory, expectancy theory, attribution theory, self-determination theory, equity theory, and Herzberg's two-factor theory, are also integral components. The competency further delves into influence and persuasion techniques, encompassing personal appeal, forming coalitions, leading by example, and rational persuasion. Personal leadership qualities like vision, self-motivation, self-discipline, risk-taking, commitment to continuous learning, and a growth mindset round off the spectrum. In summary, the leadership cluster's first behavioral competency, leadership and navigation, serves as a foundational pillar for HR professionals to navigate the complex landscape of organizational leadership, drawing from a rich tapestry of theories, techniques, and personal qualities. The initial facet of this competency focuses on navigating the organization, a skill set that operates within the framework of the organization's hierarchy, processes, systems, and policies. Proficiency indicators for all HR professionals involve demonstrating a nuanced understanding of both formal and informal work roles, leader goals, and interests. Additionally, they should adeptly navigate relationships among employees and executives, facilitating communication and decision-making necessary for successful initiative implementation. This proficiency extends to leveraging awareness and understanding of the organization's political environment and culture to effectively implement HR initiatives. For advanced HR professionals, the proficiency indicators elevate. They go beyond basic navigation to include utilizing an understanding of complex relationships among organizational leaders. This is essential for facilitating the design, implementation, and maintenance of initiatives. Moreover, advanced professionals leverage their understanding of the organization's political environment to shape and implement HR's strategic direction, enact necessary changes, and address talent needs and issues. Finally, they utilize their comprehension of the intricate relationships among the organization's formal and informal processes, systems, and policies to facilitate the development and implementation of HR's strategic direction. This level of proficiency showcases the depth of expertise and strategic acumen expected of advanced HR professionals in navigating the organizational landscape. Vision is a pivotal aspect within this competency, entailing the formulation and endorsement of a coherent vision and long-term goals for HR that align seamlessly with the strategic direction of the organization. Proficiency indicators for all HR professionals within this competency encompass embracing and supporting the business unit's and/or organization's culture, values, mission, and goals. They are tasked with defining actionable goals for the development and implementation of HR programs, practices, and policies that not only align but actively support the strategic vision of HR and the overarching organization. In addition, these professionals identify opportunities to enhance HR operations, ensuring a more robust alignment with and support for the strategic vision of HR and the organization. Their role also involves steadfastly supporting the implementation of HR programs, practices, and policies that uphold the strategic vision of HR and the organization. For advanced HR professionals, the proficiency indicators transcend routine tasks. They involve envisioning both the current and ideal future states of the HR function, organization, and culture to discern gaps and areas for improvement. These professionals play a pivotal role in developing the long-term strategic direction, vision, and goals of HR and the organization, strategically closing the gap between the existing and ideal states of the HR function and the organization. Moreover, advanced professionals craft and communicate a comprehensive plan to achieve the strategic direction, vision, and goals of HR and the organization. They actively seek feedback from executive-level stakeholders on strategic direction, vision, and goals, demonstrating agility by pivoting HR strategy, approaches, and/or programs in response to significant changes within and outside of the organization. This level of proficiency highlights the strategic foresight and adaptability expected of advanced HR professionals in shaping and executing the vision for HR and the organization. The Managing HR Initiative subcompetency involves implementing and supporting HR projects that align seamlessly with HR and organizational objectives. Proficiency indicators for all HR professionals in this subcompetency include defining and elaborating on project requirements set by leadership. They also set and monitor project goals and progress milestones, manage project budgets and resources, and identify and develop solutions for overcoming obstacles to the successful completion of projects. Additionally, they identify and monitor the resources necessary to implement and maintain HR projects, adjusting resource allocation as needed when it is inconsistent with project requirements. Their role also requires demonstrating agility and adaptability in response to changes in project requirements, goals, or constraints. For advanced HR professionals, the proficiency indicators reach a strategic level. They include translating HR's vision, strategic direction, and long-term goals into specific projects and initiatives with clear timelines and goals. Advanced professionals monitor the progress of HR initiatives toward the achievement of HR's vision, strategic direction, and long-term goals. They collaborate with leadership to remove obstacles to the successful implementation of HR initiatives, obtaining and deploying organizational resources while monitoring their effectiveness. Furthermore, they ensure accountability for the implementation of project plans and initiatives. The influence subcompetency revolves around inspiring colleagues to understand and actively pursue the strategic vision and goals of HR and the organization. Proficiency indicators for all HR professionals in this subcompetency include building credibility as an HR expert within and outside of the organization. They also excel at promoting buy-in among organizational stakeholders for HR initiatives, motivating HR staff and other stakeholders to actively support HR's vision and goals, and serving as an advocate for the organization or employees to advance the organization's strategic direction and goals. Additionally, they share opinions about important issues, regardless of potential risks or discouragement from others. For advanced HR professionals, the proficiency indicators escalate to a strategic level. They include promoting the crucial role of the HR function in achieving the organization's mission, vision, and goals. Advanced professionals build credibility for the organization at regional, national, or international levels as HR experts. They serve as influential voices for HR strategies, philosophies, and initiatives within the organization, advocating for the implementation of evidence-based HR solutions. They inspire HR staff, non-HR customers, and executive-level organizational stakeholders to actively support and pursue the organization's strategic direction, vision, and long-term goals. Advanced professionals also excel at building consensus among leaders about the organization's strategic direction and long-term goals, using HR knowledge and skills to influence business strategy, and empowering leaders to create an environment where there is tolerance for risk-taking and workers feel comfortable sharing ideas. The subsequent behavioral competency is ethical practice, delineated as the knowledge, skills, and other characteristics essential for maintaining elevated levels of personal and professional integrity. It embodies the role of an ethical agent who actively promotes core values, integrity, and accountability throughout the organization. The subcompetencies under ethical practice encompass personal integrity, professional integrity, and ethical agent. Key concepts integral to ethical practice involve ethical business principles and practices. Examples include transparency, authenticity, and addressing conflicts of interest. Privacy principles and policies. Examples include upholding anonymity, confidentiality, and implementing opt-in/opt-out policies. Internal ethics controls. Examples include safeguarding employee confidentiality and establishing standards for employee investigations. These components collectively form a robust framework for HR professionals to navigate and uphold ethical standards, ensuring the organization operates with integrity and accountability. The personal integrity subcompetency epitomizes the demonstration of high levels of integrity in personal relationships and behaviors. Proficiency indicators for all HR professionals within this competency encompass showing consistency between stated and enacted values, acknowledging mistakes, and demonstrates accountability for actions, recognizing explicit and unconscious biases in oneself and others, taking steps to increase self-awareness, and serving as a role model of personal integrity and high ethical standards. For advanced HR professionals, the proficiency indicators elevate to a strategic level. They include bringing potential conflicts of interest or unethical behaviors to the attention of leaders and executives, assisting others in identifying, understanding, and addressing their biases, and holding others accountable to their commitments. These proficiency indicators collectively underscore the advanced HR professional's capacity to not only embody personal integrity, but to also actively contribute to fostering a culture of ethical behavior and accountability within the organizational context. The professional integrity subcompetency signifies the demonstration of high levels of integrity in professional relationships and behaviors. Proficiency indicators for all HR professionals within this competency include maintaining privacy as appropriate and complying with laws and regulations mandating a duty to report unethical behavior, using discretion appropriately when communicating sensitive information, informing stakeholders of the limits of confidentiality and privacy, maintaining current knowledge of ethics laws, standards, legislation, and emerging trends impacting organizational HR practice, leading HR investigations in a thorough, timely, and impartial manner, establishing oneself as credible and trustworthy, not taking actions based on personal biases, managing political and social pressures when making decisions and when implementing and enforcing HR programs, practices, and policies, providing open, honest, and constructive feedback to colleagues when situations involving questions of ethics arise, balancing ethics, integrity, organizational success, employee advocacy, organizational mission and values, laws and regulations, and organizational policies and procedures, and seeking opportunities to learn new skills and improve existing skills to become a stronger HR professional. For advanced HR professionals, the proficiency indicators ascend to a strategic level. They encompass withstanding politically motivated pressure when developing or implementing strategy, initiatives, or long-term goals, balancing ethics, integrity, organizational success, employee advocacy, and organizational mission and values when creating strategy, initiatives, or long-term goals, establishing the HR team as a credible and trustworthy resource, promoting the alignment of HR and business practices with ethics laws and standards, making difficult decisions that align with organizational values and ethics, applying power or authority appropriately without seeking personal gain or benefit, and demonstrating agility and courage when making difficult decisions or handling challenging situations. These indicators collectively underscore the advanced HR professional's capability to navigate complex ethical landscapes, make strategic decisions aligned with organizational values, and foster a culture of professional integrity within the HR function. The ethical agent competency is dedicated to cultivating the organization's ethical environment and ensuring that policies and practices reflect ethical values. Proficiency indicators for all HR professionals within this competency encompass empowering all employees to report unethical behaviors and conflicts of interest without fear of reprisal, taking steps to mitigate the influence of bias in HR and business decisions, maintaining appropriate levels of transparency for HR programs, practices, and policies, identifying, evaluating, and communicating potential ethical risks and conflicts of interest to leadership, and ensuring staff members have access to and understand the organization's ethical standards and policies. For advanced HR professionals, the proficiency indicators rise to a strategic level. They include advising senior management of organizational risks and conflicts of interest, collaborating with leaders to support internal ethics controls, developing and providing expertise for HR policies, standards, and other internal ethics controls to minimize organizational risks from unethical practices, creating and overseeing HR programs, practices, and policies that drive an ethical culture, encourage employees to report unethical behaviors, and protect the confidentiality of employees and data. Communicating a vision for an organizational culture in which there is consistency between the organization's stated and enacted values. Developing HR programs, practices, and policies that meet high standards of ethics and integrity. designing and overseeing systems to ensure that all investigations are conducted in a thorough, timely, and impartial manner. Auditing and monitoring adherence to HR programs, practices, and policies pertaining to ethics. Designing and overseeing learning and development programs covering ethics, and implementing and maintaining a culture and system that encourages all employees to report unethical practices and behaviors. These proficiency indicators collectively highlight the advanced HR professional's role in shaping and sustaining an ethical organizational culture with a focus on transparency, risk mitigation, and continuous improvement in ethical practices. The final competency, diversity, equity, and inclusion, is defined as the knowledge, skills, and other characteristics necessary to foster a work environment where all individuals are treated fairly and respectfully. This environment ensures equal access to opportunities and resources, fosters a sense of belonging, and encourages individuals to leverage their unique backgrounds and characteristics to contribute fully to the organization's success. Sub-competencies under diversity, equity, and inclusion include creating a diverse and inclusive culture, ensuring equity effectiveness, and connecting diversity, equity, and inclusion to organizational performance. Key concepts integral to D&I encompass characteristics of a dynamic workforce. Examples include a multi-generational, multicultural, multilingual, multi-talented, and multi-gendered workforce. Approaches to developing an inclusive workplace. Examples include executive sponsorship, leadership buy-in, allyship, unconscious bias training, employee resource groups, mentorship, diversity metrics, psychological safety, and using preferred gender pronouns. Workspace solutions. Examples include facilities such as lactation rooms, prayer rooms, accommodations for braille and screen readers, closed captioning, wheelchair ramps, and gender-neutral restrooms. Barriers to success involving conscious and unconscious bias. Examples encompass gender-based discrimination, racism, including systemic racism, stereotypes, ageism, ableism, in-group/out-group bias, affinity bias, gender identity bias, sexual orientation bias, social comparison bias, extroversion/introversion bias, neurodiversity bias, microaggressions, and personal barriers such as imposter syndrome and identity covering, as well as cultural taxation. Techniques to measure and increase equity. Examples include the Empathy Index, diversity of employees at all organizational levels, pay audits, pay equity reports, pay transparency, and employee surveys. Benefits and programs that support D&I. Examples encompass caregiver options, workplace flexibility policies, paid leave options, tuition reimbursement programs, and a global festivities and events calendar. Diversity, equity, and inclusion metrics. Examples include gender diversity, race diversity, retention rates for diverse employees, and the diversity of external stakeholders. These components collectively form a comprehensive framework for HR professionals to champion diversity, equity, and inclusion within the organization, ensuring a workplace that is not only diverse, but also inclusive and equitable, thereby driving organizational success. The Creating a Diverse and Inclusive Culture subcompetency aims to cultivate a work environment where every individual feels welcomed, respected, supported, and a sense of belonging. Proficiency indicators for all HR professionals within this subcompetency encompass recognizing, supporting, and advocating on behalf of a diverse workforce with representation across various dimensions of diversity, including race, gender, sexual orientation, ethnicity, religious beliefs, country of origin, education, and abilities. Identifying and implementing workspace solutions. Identifying, confronting, and addressing evidence of bias, stereotyping, microaggressions, and subtle acts of exclusion in the workplace, providing professional development, mentoring, coaching, and guidance on cultural and diversity differences and practices to employees at all levels of the organization. Identifying and communicating the benefits of D&I to employees and leaders. Developing and maintaining knowledge of current trends and HR management best practices relating to D&I. Implementing HR programs, practices, and policies that encourage employees to embrace opportunities to work with those who possess diverse experiences and backgrounds. And supporting a workplace culture and team that invite interpersonal risk-taking, support mutual respect and trust, and do not embarrass or punish team members for speaking up. Proficiency indicators for advanced HR professionals include advocating to leadership to increase workforce diversity with representation across various dimensions of diversity, partnering with business leaders to develop, implement, and oversee enterprise-wide programs, practices, and policies that lead to an inclusive and diverse workforce. Ensuring HR staff members have up-to-date knowledge of current trends and HR management best practices relating to D&I. Assessing an organization's inclusiveness, diversity, and retention of diverse talent using D&I metrics. Creating and managing HR programs, practices, and policies that encourage employees to embrace opportunities to work with those who possess diverse experiences and backgrounds. Developing policies and programs to create a workplace culture and team that support and reinforce the principles of psychological safety, and providing a culture that encourages employees to be their authentic selves, promotes courageous and honest D&I related conversations, and supports allyship among employees. The Ensuring Equity Effectiveness subcompetency is centered on ensuring fair treatment and access, opportunity, and advancement for all individuals in the workplace. Proficiency indicators for all HR professionals within this subcompetency include contributing to the development and enhancement of an organizational culture that provides access, opportunity, and equity for all employees. Identifying opportunities to enhance the equity of organizational policies and procedures for all employees. Assessing equity using tools to determine the relationship among empathy, inclusion, and behavior. Implementing and managing benefits and programs that support a diverse and equitable workforce. Consulting with managers about behavioral distinctions between performance issues and D&I differences. And partnering with people managers to hire new employees from diverse groups across a variety of dimensions. For advanced HR professionals, the proficiency indicators include designing and overseeing HR programs, practices, and policies that promote an organizational culture that provides access, opportunity, and equity for all employees. Planning interventions to resolve identified inequities. Incorporating the results of equity assessments into HR strategy and programs. Identifying, advocating for, and overseeing benefits and programs that support a diverse and equitable workforce. Seeking out and hiring a team of HR professionals that is diverse across a variety of dimensions. And advising business leaders on how to behave in more empathetic and inclusive ways. These indicators collectively underscore the advanced HR professionals' strategic role in fostering a workplace environment that champions equity, ensuring that access, opportunities, and advancement are accessible to every individual, irrespective of their background. The final subcompetency, connecting DE&I to organizational performance, emphasizes demonstrating the importance of DE&I efforts in achieving organizational goals and key objectives. Proficiency indicators for all HR professionals within this subcompetency include demonstrating support to internal and external stakeholders for the organization's D&I efforts, designing and executing effective D&I initiatives to achieve business goals, and collecting, reviewing, analyzing, and effectively communicating D&I metric results to show measurable effects on organizational objectives and productivity. For advanced HR professionals, the proficiency indicators elevate to a strategic level. They include creating and advocating for the organizational business case for DE&I, partnering with leaders to incorporate D&I goals into the organization's strategic plan, setting and tracking D&I goals and metrics to measure the effect on organizational objectives and productivity, incorporating DE&I goals and best practices into all HR programs and policies, and identifying changes in the workforce and workplace related to D&I that are necessary to help an organization meet key business objectives. These proficiency indicators collectively highlight the advanced HR professional's role in not only supporting and executing DE&I initiatives, but also strategically aligning them with organizational goals, emphasizing their measurable impact on productivity and objectives. That's all for today's lesson. If you're interested in getting notified when we upload a new video, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell. Remember, HR is more than just acronyms. It's about people and possibilities. Time to clock out until next time. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.